if I could begin by asking, what is the role of corporate affairs in a multinational company like SAB Miller?
Well, the role of corporate affairs is really to build and protect the reputation of SAB Miller and its subsidiary companies with all of our key stakeholders, both internally and externally. If we think about those stakeholders, they range from our investors, our financial analysts, the governments around the world, civil society, NGOs, the media, and importantly, of course, our employees and our partners.
And how do you build your reputation amongst those stakeholders in order to manage risk?
Well, as a company, we believe that reputation is indivisible. In fact, that's one of our 5 values. And what that actually means is that we think our reputation is really sort of set by the actions of all of the individuals across the company. So one of our primary roles in corporate affairs is to ensure that the organisation remembers that and thinks about that when it goes about its business. I think another kind of important part of our role is also to make sure that our stakeholders understand our business, understand our operations and our strategy. Because all of our research shows that when people do understand us, when they are familiar with us, then they actually respond more favourably to us. And of course, our important audience of investors and analysts, it's critical that they understand the business and its operations so that they can put a fair value on our shares. I guess the other important parts of our role are really around specific events and transactions. So, for instance, something like the Grolsch acquisition. In corporate affairs, we would develop and execute the strategies that surround those types of acquisitions. We would work with particular stakeholder groups. An example at the moment would be we're working with our African colleagues to really kind of show how business can tackle some of the poverty alleviation issues through business development. And I guess the third area where we would work is around sort of CSI projects, corporate social investment projects. A good example would be some of the enterprise work we're doing down in South Africa on the Kickstart brand.
So what are the biggest challenges to your licence to operate as an international brewer?
Well, of course, society expects that companies like ourselves should contribute to tackling some of the big issues, environmental and societal issues. SAB Miller does operate in some controversial markets in Africa and in South America. And of course, some people believe that we produce a controversial product. Against that, brewing is a very local business. You know, we source locally, we brew locally, and we sell locally. And that really gives us the opportunity in many of our developing markets to invest in local agriculture, to invest in local distribution, to invest in local retail outlets, and to invest in local people to develop their skills and capabilities. And in that way, we think we really are adding to the local economy, and we're tackling some of the issues of poverty and poverty alleviation.